Hey guys, it's Stephen, your event director, host, and MC for the 10th Annual Asians on Film Festival of Shorts. And we're joined here by the director of Walk of Contrasts, Chelsea Ng. Chelsea, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, for those that have not seen the music video and film yet, tell us all about how fun and smooth this piece of work is.
Well, first, I want to say that I'm a co-director with my partner Max Masri, and we wanted to create a music video in honor of the 50th anniversary of Stonewall. And we were both going to be in New York City in the summer of 2018 and saw an opportunity to collaborate. We've collaborated many times before over the years, and we love New York City, and we wanted to make a video that is kind of a love letter to that fantastic, vibrant place, if you will. So if you love New York, you will, I think, have a lot of fun with our video.
So this video also showcases the tango, and you're very passionate about that. You're a performer as well. You personally and Max, why Stonewall? Why LGBTQ um, rights, and why tango?
Okay. Wow, that's a
Mm,
big question.
yep.
Uh, so we wanted to do something that would deconstruct a conventional tango video, and specifically a tango video in the Argentine tango genre, in which we've both worked pretty much our whole adult lives. And so the song is American. It's not a traditional Argentine tango song. The lyrics are in English, they're not in Spanish. The lead actor, Ashley Howe, is Asian and not Latinx. She was born in Hong Kong and she grew up in New Jersey and lives in Manhattan now, and has been in the States since she was 2 years old. And we shot in New York City instead of in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And then the tango dancing that you see is not the heteronormative pairing that you would normally see in a tango music video. So those were all important choices for us. And Max is an LGBTQ director and longtime professional music artist in the world of Argentine tango and beyond. And we both identify on the LGBTQ spectrum. And so it's important for us to put out work that helps to ideally widen society's embrace of people who live on the spectrum.
Now you just mentioned society. So Stonewall, this is, well, back in June 2019 was the 50th anniversary, and it's been in the histories since 1969. Can you talk about how this film not only celebrates LGBTQ rights and tango, but also kind of educates people that may not know what Stonewall 50 is?
Yes, so there's a moment where we're dancing in front of Stonewall, and we're in the West Village in New York, and Ashley walks by Stonewall, and it's a kind of a revisiting, a re-encountering of the place, and part of our idea in tandem with Ashley, because we spoke with her a lot about how she wanted to show up in this video and be portrayed. And she wanted to show kind of an average day, a normal day in her life in New York City. And so it's really that, and her capacity to live as she is, and to be portrayed in a way that was not at all sensationalizing her life. And so she walks by and she sees some tango dancers in the park. And in that moment, it's happens to be me dancing with Kelly Lettieri, and we are doing a kind of butterfly tango, which is our homage to Las Mariposas, a movement to eradicate violence against women. It's an international movement, and with some Buenos Aires, Argentina roots. So that's a bit of what we were after, and that hopefully people would then investigate a little bit and look into that history.
A lot of history there, and I wish that we can resubmit your film and have you have director's commentary during the film, because there were so many messages, and you just pinpointed a few, and I know there's a lot more that you and Max could expand on. And speaking of you and Max, you've worked on a lot of projects together. Collectively, both of you are advocates for LGBTQ rights, disabilities, inclusion of the marginalized, and animal compassion. Um, we saw a lot of that in this film. What is going to be next for you? And how will you incorporate tango and all of those items that I mentioned?
Yes. So Max and I love to work together, and I think we're very much on the same page. I'm working on another project that is also tango related, with a beautiful song that Max composed, and that will be forthcoming hopefully in 2021, uh, and featuring a diverse group of tango dancers in natural outdoor settings. We've had to be sort of harness the gifts of this
Yeah,
time, the pandemic, and
yeah.
see what we can do safely, uh, and making the most of the beautiful outdoors. So that's a bit of a preview, but it also deals with kind of intersectional identities, and how to celebrate those.
So I learned something new in learning about your film, that there's actually you mentioned about the Argentinian movement with the butterfly tango, of how it's advocating for violence against women, but Tango and Judaism, that's also a approach. Can you expand on that and teach us?
Yes. So Max is Jewish, and I have family ties to Judaism. It's a long story, but family ties on my mother's side, and have been taking a kind of deep dive myself into Judaism these last 4 years, and finding a kind of spiritual and religious home there, alongside my very sort of new age and metaphysical upbringing with my parents, who are kind of children of the 60s. Um, and so at some point in our many dialogues at cafe tables in Buenos Aires and New York, Max and I realized that this was something we had in common. And there is a very well-known teaching in Judaism of tikkun olam, the idea of healing or repair of the world, and that this is something that we're tasked with, that we're to take responsibility for doing our part there. And Max and I, in our work as interdisciplinary artists, that's something that matters to us a lot. And so we want whatever we're doing to be in that vein, and to help in some way. Uh, and um, and uh,
You
you know,
mentioned healing, and we could really use some as artists right now, and as the world, as we know, the obvious. But what would you like to do with this film in regards to telling a story, and what would you like to leave with people after they watch your film?
uh, oh, it's a great question. Um, I think that uh, that Max and I would both would hope that that young people who are coming up and maybe questioning their identity, or dealing with different aspects of their identity, um, would uh, come to a place of loving who they are and celebrating who they are, and that their loved ones parents, family members, friends would also embrace the totality of that, the complexity of that with open hearts.
I want to thank my guest, Chelsea, the co-director of Walk of Contrasts. Max couldn't be here to join us, but he sends his hellos. He's also performing on the film. So if you'd like to see this film, Walk of Contrasts, as well as this interview, you can check out the links in our bio. Thank you so much for joining us, Chelsea.
Thank you so much for having me.